Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another solo leveling arise video, and I wanted to make this to talk about which hunters are best to build out. I know especially for a lot of free-to-play players, your resources are very limited in this game, especially once you get past some of the beginning content and you start to get to the mid game and the end game. Resources go by quickly and they're hard to come by, so I think that this video is just helpful in terms of who you should spend your resources on, who to focus on, to build out for your hunters. Now, I'm not going to go into like specific setups in terms of like artifacts and all that. I'm just going to tell you which hunters are generally the best. And it might differ depending on some of the different content in the game, but hopefully this video should still be helpful. And I do actually have a spreadsheet that I pulled up here, so I'll go ahead and kind of fill this out as the video goes on. But actually, let me pull this up here. So it's segmented into best to build out, pretty good for support slash utility. Maybe if spending, if you have some extra resources, then maybe there's some extra hunters you could build out, and then just don't waste your time with certain hunters. So best to build out. I'm gonna put a few in here just right off the bat. I'm gonna say best to build out Alicia 100%. The reason is because she has a ton of damage, and Wobble is where you get the best gear. So Workshop of Brilliant Light is weak to water and wind-based hunters and weapons. So Alicia is kind of your top pick for that. She's number one. I actually focus on getting her weapon to 100, got some advancements and some dupes for that. Whereas, some of my other hunters might not be as leveled up. So Alicia is kind of your number one hunter in my opinion, especially for Wobble. That's kind of the good answer there for best to build out. A couple others that I really like as well. I think Sayo has a good spot as well. Water, break damage, that takes care of a couple requirements to also clear Wobble. So I would put Sayo in this category as well. I think there's probably a couple others. Cha is really going to be helpful for things like the Scorpion, because that's weak to light and you need to stop the healing. Back in the day when there was the spider in the Encore dungeon, Cha was really helpful for that as well. But there are some other light-based content where Cha is your main DPS, so that is going to be pretty important to have that built out. So kind of Cha and Alicia are like probably the two main DPSs. The third one would be Mireille. I'd probably also put Mireille on this list here. Kind of very similar to Alicia and Cha. She does a lot of DPS, but just for the wind-based element here. So she kind of covers you for anything that is weak to wind. So I kind of like to have a DPS in each of the categories of the elements. One for water, one for light, one for wind, and then your dark DPS, which back in the day, well, I guess that wasn't that long ago, but before Charlotte was released here, you didn't really have too many good options for dark base hunters. You had Lim, which is mostly for break. You had Silvermane, but he really doesn't do that much. He did get a little bit of a buff, so he's better than he used to be, but still nothing like he's not in like I don't know. He's just like a mid tier kind of SSR, and then like King Taeshik is an SR. So even though King Taeshik is actually pretty good, he has a good passive with this bleed, but he's just not as good as the SSRs. So I would also probably put um, Charlotte in this category as well, because she can go ahead and be your dark based damage dealer. So I would say probably these five hunters are going to be where you'd want to spend your resources in the most. There's going to be some good support and utility, and there's some ones that you're probably like, wait, they should be in best to build out. I would say in the blue here, it could also be part of best to build out. I could honestly combine these two, but I just wanted to separate them because I think the most important ones are honestly your DPS, because that's where you get all your damage from, and then there's some other kind of utility-based hunters here. And the first one I'm going to put on here is Emma. Emma's really, really good. She's basically just part of the green here, but she does good AoE, good break, and I also like to run. I secretly run, well, not secretly, but I really should really upgrade this, but I have the destroyer set on her, so whenever I'm running her, my power gauge for my ultimates are just like insane. So she's kind of like my full base. I just use her strictly for utility, AoE, break, increase power gauge. I think that's probably your best bet with Emma. You don't really need to build her out for too much damage and stuff like that. That's where your other hunters can come into play here. Now there is one, I guess, fire hunter that's missing here for best to build out. You could think about adding Yu So Hyun. Now, when she came out, she was pretty good and pretty strong when she first came out, but I don't think that she is anything insane. I don't think she's really on par with the other DPSs as mentioned. She might be like the last one to build out. So, I mean, I'll put her in here, but that's just simply for her elements. I would say optional. So that can help with your. I do think she's better than she is better than Choi. So she does more damage than Choi. So I think that she might deserve this optional. So I'll just put that optional. Going back to some of the other hunters here, let's see what we got left. So Emma, number 1. I'll probably put Min, number 2. Lots of heals. Really good all-around character. Whenever I'm struggling, whenever I'm dying in a battle, if it's a harder stage, I'll usually just throw in Min, and he gets me through a lot of stages because he just keeps my team alive, so I don't have to worry about dying. So Min is also going to be in this category here for pretty good to build out for support and utility. Let's see if we have any others. I would also put Harper in here. The only reason is for, well, I guess there's 2 reasons. The new dungeon, the new couple dungeons, which would be Kaisel and, well, I guess Egress is still around, but those 2 dungeons she's very helpful in, just to have a better dark-based breaker rather than limb. So you don't have to rely on limb. Harper is going to be a little bit better in that category. And then also for Baron, that's going to be coming out. I think she's going to be somewhat important for that. Now, a lot of players aren't even at the Baron fight in the story, so it's not really something you have to worry about right now. But later on, I think Harper is going to have a bigger role to play. So I would put her in there as well, just for that dark break damage. And let's see if there's any others here. I probably would also put Hansei Mi. I think it's spelled something like that. I could be wrong. But Hansei Mi is going to be a good win-based hunter. I would also put maybe Woojin Chul. Hopefully I'm spelling these names correctly. They might be separated. I can double check here. I don't want to mess up the spelling. Yeah, Woojin Chul. I think that was right. So Woojin Chul, he got a buff, so he's kind of better now than it used to be. And I think my last couple picks, there's 2 more that I would add. I would add Bake, and I would add Malin. So Bake is going to be your light breaker. Malin is going to be your water-based support. She is helpful for wobble if you don't have if you don't have like Woojin Chul or Hansei Mi. You can kind of go with a team like Alicia, Seo, and Malin is pretty good. Or there's a lot of different combinations you can go, but I would probably put her in there as well. So I think that's everybody in the ones that I would build out. Kind of in order, you want to focus on probably these top 5 DPSs. Yu So Hyun is optional, and then these whoever you have for these supports. For utility, that would be kind of your next best. Now, maybe if you're spending, I'll just kind of throw in the leftovers here. Who's left? So we have the chairman. What's his name here? So Gogen He. So I'd probably throw him in here as well. Do we have any others that we're missing from kind of this top area? Let's see. Okay, so I'll probably just throw in these guys here. So we have Lim, so kind of like a backup dark-based breaker if you don't have Harper. We can go ahead and throw in Nam. She's a good one for water if you don't have some of the other ones. Let's see, we have Libora as a good dark-based support. Some of these I actually run for clan boss or the guild boss, just because you have to run 9 hunters. So some of these actually do slot in that case. Is there any others here that I'm missing? I guess we have some of these bottom tier ones, but you could put in Silvermane if you really want. You could put in Choi if you really want. But these are probably not ones that I would focus too heavily on. So I think that kind of covers everybody. All the rest of these are going to be your SRs that aren't really used. I could have also just made a hunter tier list for this, but I wanted to talk about some of the specifics for why you should spend resources on these hunters. Now, some of these hunters you might spend resources on in the early game when you just start, and there's no shame in that just to get through the early stages. You can go ahead and invest in some of these hunters here, but I would kind of like, as you can see, I stopped upgrading them just because they're not really used in the end game. or really once you get past like the mid game. Sorry, but I think that kind of sums up everything. I hope I'm not missing anything. Ooh, that's actually one last person I would put in here is Park. Park is going to be a good option. I just, for whatever reason, I never got a chance to level her up here. I think it's because I have all of my wind-based hunters pretty leveled up. So I already have my Woojin Chol, I already have my Hansei Mi, and I already have my Mirei. So there wasn't really a need for her, but I would say if you're missing Hansei Mi, she could be a good backup to kind of substitute for that. All these other hunters, I'm not even gonna like fill this in. It's just no, don't worry about those. Or the early game, and then you just stop upgrading them after a while. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Feel free to just kind of maybe screenshot this or save it if you really want to. I can also post this in a couple different areas. If you guys haven't already, we do have a community Discord. I'll go ahead and link that down below in the description of the video. If you're not in there, feel free to join it. We just update the channel, update the guild. There is actually a second guild that I made because the first one filled up really fast. So I'll put that guild name down below in the description just in case. If you guys don't have a guild, it's just called Shadow Inc. V2. So you can go ahead and join our second guild that we have. And last announcement, I'll just kind of remind you guys every so often, but I am doing a giveaway at 1K subs. So if you want a chance at a few different prizes, I'll probably be doing 3 or 4 giveaways at 1K just so people have more of a chance to win. If you do want to subscribe and support the channel, that would be much appreciated as a smaller content creator. But anyways, guys, don't want to drag this on any longer. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you take care, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.